They say never start a video apologizing, but I kind of have to. If you've ever watched me on any of these videos, you'll know that my voice is a little gruff here, and I may start hacking in the middle of it because I watched season 4 of Cobra Kai almost a week ago, and I was going to do this video. I got some good stuff for you. That's why I really wanted to get back to it, but unfortunately, I got a flu, like right at the beginning of 2022, and it put me in bed for a week, and I couldn't get back to it till now. This is like the first day that I can actually feel good enough to do this video. So, but I'm excited about it. I'm here. Be aware there will be spoilers. And so it's best to go and watch the series prior to watching this episode of Midnight American. Before we get started, though, I want to remind you to please subscribe to this channel. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and ring the subscription bell. If you're on another platform, go ahead and subscribe there, because Midnight American channel is just getting started, really. I mean, we're still in the early stages, I should say, and we're still building a subscriber base, and we want you to be a part of it moving forward in 2022. Okay, but we're going to start this story off today in 1984 in a little town just outside of Gelnhausen, Germany, on a small military post where I was stationed in the Army, and there was one movie theater on post that played one film at a time, played film each week, and it was usually whatever was popular back in the States, right? And I remember that was the first place I saw Karate Kid, and I didn't think a whole lot of it at the time. I thought it was a really good film. I couldn't say I was a Karate Kid fan dude, but I can always appreciate a film that's well written, has good storytelling, and this did. And I remember that it was a good film. Far better than what you see now with all this damn fan farming and cash grabbing that you see coming out of Hollywood. I'm talking to you, Matrix Resurrections. Karate Kid was at least a well-told story, and then eventually just kind of became one of those iconic films that worked its way into the lexicon, right? Like so many films from like 1984. Do just a little search on 1984. See how many great films came out that year. But anyway, we fast forward to today, and you can go on these video platforms and they'll do plot breakdowns and Easter eggs to the original films, you know, all these callbacks and all of that. But I want to talk about something a little deeper. I want to talk about Josh Heald, John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, and the way that they infused just humanity into this series, okay? But something else too. Something that your leftists and your socialist American haters just hate so much. And that is anything that harkens back to anything before 1999. Okay, we had something called accountability, okay? And we're not talking about holding someone else accountable. Oh no, they're very good at that. I'm talking about self-accountability. Not everything is someone else's fault, right? And this series acknowledges that so well. And it also acknowledges that times have changed. And it's moving with those times. It's not stuck in the 80s, right? It understands that things have changed for good and for bad. They even include some of this woke dick SJW stuff into the characters and the scenes there, but they do it without stuffing it down your throat and compromising the story. Oh, God forbid. They studied what made the original Karate Kid films and so many other films from that era so engaging. And as I say, they respected, you know, the reality of the human condition, right? And that we have to cope with things in life sometimes, that there are life challenges and conflicts, you know, and the fans loved them for that. There were some really great, I found, stoic, I'll just call them life lessons peppered throughout this season. And I'm just going to call them my 3 unofficial lessons that I caught while watching the Cobra Kai Season 4. In the forge of deception, we shape our own demons. What do I mean by this? Well, we see it illustrated really well when they introduce this new kid, Kenny, who's bullied by Daniel's youngest son, Anthony, and his little schoolmate cronies, right? They trick him into thinking that a girl at school wants to meet him in a park in cosplay costumes. And then what do? They ambush him and they humiliate him and they knock him around and kick his ass and all that, like this damn flu did to me. And the bullying continues. It continues at school. And eventually he goes and talks to his brother, who's locked up. And his brother advises him to find Robbie, who's Johnny's son, and joins Cobra Kai. An interesting point in here is that while Kenny is training, to retaliate against Anthony LaRusso, Anthony's playing the victim, right? He's deceiving everyone, including his parents, making them think that he's the victim. And meanwhile, Kenny rises up against him. And, they're both caught, they're expelled. And by the time Anthony learns his lesson and has a change of heart, it's too late. The tables have turned and Kenny is now the abuser. And through cowardice and deception, Anthony has forged his own demon. And it's freaking awesome, right? Kenny's brother's in prison and his dad's away in the military. So who's there to kind of fill the void? Well, Cobra Kai, right? And what are they teaching him? No mercy, all right? And he threatens Anthony and says, "Come on, make this next year living hell for you." And his threats are real because of what he's learning from Cobra Kai. But it's hard to feel sorry for Anthony because he was deceptive. He was weak. He was cowardly. He was abusive. And now he's sleeping in a bed that he made, i.e., held accountable for his actions. There's a point in one of the episodes where it's kind of a humble scene where you see Daniel come to terms with the fact that he is limited by the Miyagi-Do teachings. And there's even this flashback where Mr. Miyagi says, one day, Daniel, you'll find your own way, right? And what's cool about this is that you see that you continue to learn even when you're older. The learning should never stop. You shouldn't be limited by just your narrow body of understanding of things. And he needs to expand his body of knowledge into a bigger world, right? So that brings us to learn through a master, yet master through many. Okay, and there's a real echo chamber of ideology throughout this series. Okay, you got Eagle Fang, who is led by Johnny Lawrence, and they have the whole offensive approach, no mercy. Okay, you learned it through Kreese. And then you got the Miyagi-Do way, which is Daniel LaRusso's group, and that's the whole defensive approach learned through Mr. Miyagi. Yet, we sense that neither one of these two masters really are complete masters. They're refusing to accept anything outside their limited course of learning. Okay, so they're relegated to be kind of the yin to each other's yang. And it isn't until they form an alliance together and become open to each other's forms and techniques and all of that, and they begin to learn from each other, that they become more well-rounded and valuable mentors to their students. Unfortunately, their egos kind of get in the way and they sabotage any chance of union between them, and this division cripples what they could have accomplished together, which brings us to number 3. To the extent that we're blinded by virtuous ego, we are exploited by unscrupulous sinners. Ego blinds everyone to who they are. In other words, it blinds us to ourselves, and it deceives us with an unrealistic picture of reality. And we see this displayed really well when Terry Silver comes in and addresses the students, tells everybody, we all have weaknesses, even John Kreese. And that kind of hits on John Kreese's ego. And later he asks, "What do you think my weakness is?" And Silver doesn't say, but he knows it's Kreese's overconfidence and this just illusion that he has a dominance and control over everyone. And he's kind of blinded by that ego. And I don't want to give away the ending here too much, but yeah, he kind of uses that on him in the end. And there's a whole cool twist here that they really wrap up beautifully. That's pretty much it. So let's go to those three here real quick. In the Forge of Deception, we shape our own demons, learn through a master, yet master through many, and to the extent that we're blinded by virtuous ego, we are exploited by unscrupulous sinners. And if you can think of maybe another lesson that was learned through this particular season, go ahead and share it in the section down below. I know they've gone and filmed season 5 already, so I'm looking forward to that. I just think this is an amazing series. So maybe I'll do what I learned from season 5, something like that. I don't know. We'll find out. Let me know in the section down below if you think that would be a cool thing to do, or just we move on from it. I don't know. This is an experiment, so we'll see where it goes. Follow me on Facebook and Patreon. I also am thinking about just switching everything over to Subscribestar. Let me know. What do you think on that too? Sign up at Midnight American, become a member of the Night Crew so that we can stay in touch. And guys, thank you so much for kind of crawling through this with me and my voice the way that it is right now. Hopefully it'll be better next time. So thanks for being here. And until next time, know yourself better than you know anyone else.